What helps muscles recover faster after exercise? The first thing I'd say is about managing your hydration and your sleep. So about keeping the body replenished, making sure that you're getting enough water in your system, and then obviously sleeping is one of our key things. So making sure around 7 hours a night so our body can recover, and it's quality sleep. So it's not disturbed. You're going through the process of sleeping effectively in a comfy bed, maybe in a dark environment and nice and quiet. So also look at what you're taking in terms of food. So protein is the muscle food. It's what aids replenishment of damaged muscle. The protein fibers are then utilized within our food, go straight into our working muscle. So you want to be looking at how much protein you're taking in, and think about the time of the day when you're taking your protein. So you may have a protein meal before bed, protein in the morning. So again, thinking about the kinds of things that take protein or the food that's intaked in protein. There's quite a few studies now about drinking chocolate milk as a recovery aid for muscle as well. So have a look at the low sugared milkshakes. Chocolate milkshakes have been shown that some elite athletes are taking this in as a sort of process. So again, we've talked about muscle intake. Think about your foam roller. Okay, that could be an aspect, and also a massage. Okay, thinking about what we're doing post-workout and the time of the day, what we're working out as well, but making sure that your outcome is rest and recovery is effective. When should I stretch? How often? And what is the best way to stretch? So looking at your sessions of training, we will look at flexibility within 3 levels. So we're looking at pre-competition or pre-exercise stretching, post-training or post-competition stretching, as well as flexibility sessions. So when looking at pre-training, we look at doing dynamic stretching as part of your warm-up. So that's about mobility, going through the range of movement, but not stopping and holding for periods of time. So that'll be incorporated into your warm-up aspect. When we finish training, when we finish competition, as part of your cool down, we then look at our post-training, where we would introduce static stretching for around 35 to 45 seconds per muscle group. So you're going to go head to toe, introducing static stretching, increasing the pliability post-exercise. And finally, the main aspect, what I'd say for stretching is important, is actually flexibility. So you want to be doing a whole body flexibility session, 2 to 3 sessions per week. So you're looking around 60 seconds per muscle group for each exercise. Now you can do this with involved in a exercise class, and you can look at the things like yoga, Pilates, and Tai Chi as part of a stretching routine as well. What is the best way to help sore muscles? So I'd say start off by looking at your cool down, ensuring that you've got a 10-minute cool down that introduces light movements, cardiovascular exercise, and some static stretching to stretch through those tight muscles, ensuring that blood flow is optimal. Think about staying hydrated as well. Around 82% of your blood volume is water. So by taking water in regularly, you're maintaining that blood flow and maintaining the flexibility of the muscles and pliability. So consider your sleep as well. We need to be looking around 7 hours of sleep per night, and good quality sleep. So that aids the recovery of our muscle breakdown. So what my athletes will usually ask is, when they get home from training, what do they do? Have a nice warm bath is one of the recommendations. Not hot, because that can have a negative effect, but a warm bath, and maybe added 200 to 400 grams of Epsom salts. The magnesium can then help be absorbed through the skin, help soreness and muscle function. But the next day, what I'd say is look at active recovery. So doing nice, gentle, restorative movements, maybe in the swimming pool, on an exercise bike, or even going for a walk, can actually help by keeping the muscles with blood flow and keeping everything nice and fluid. And that will then reduce the amount of soreness you're experiencing. What are the benefits of massage, and when should I have one? So there's various aspects what people talk about benefits, and we've been shown that massage decreases DOMS, so pain after exercise, due to localized increase in circulation. It gets rid of waste products. So when you've exercised, obviously it flushes everything out and it aids the recovery. It's been shown to improve skin tone. Obviously recovery from soft tissue injuries has been an aspect of discussion. And then it can increase joint mobility. So when do we have these? There's again three chains of thought. Is some people use them as a preparation, so pre-competition massage. They'll come into the changing room, they'll have a quick rub down, and that aids in part of their preparation. We can then look at that as a psychological perspective as well as physical. Some people then have a post-exercise or post-competition massage where they'll finish their marathon, finish their training, and then I'll have a lighter flush through. Or then a lot of people come in for a massage and then they'll use it as part of their recovery as a bigger picture. So they'll probably have that once every 2 weeks to 4 weeks to make sure that everything's kept supple, the pain's dissipated, and then everything across there is actually keeping maintained. So a lot of people use massage as part of their training program. Specifically in the rugby environment, what I see is the rugby players will come in for a massage whenever they can, because they use that as much as their training plan as they can do, like their stretching and everything else. Should I introduce foam rolling as part of my pre and post exercise routine? Now, foam rolling's role is basically to increase muscle pliability by elongating the fascia, which is the tissue outside the muscle. It's been shown as a beneficial part of a warm-up, but obviously wants to be before you do your warm-up, because if you're warmed up and then you stop and then start foam rolling, it brings the body back down to a cooled level again. So using it as part of that can actually be part of your warm-up, or it can be part of your training program itself. Now, you can also use this as part of the post cool-down for a bit more of a stretch through, aiding with the blood flow. However, you've got to consider if there's any painful spots. You get different kinds of foam rollers. Some are knobbly, some are flat, some are smooth, some are where they've got intermittent. So it's literally a case of when it rolls over, if you're getting any pain, that can cause an aggravation. So you don't want to be working across a pain spot. Other than that, introduce it as part of your flexibility session or your mobility session. And when we're looking at this in terms of competition, you need to make sure you introduce it into training first before you go into your competition session, so then you'll know how your body responds to using a foam roller. Because the worst thing you can do is start foam rolling just before a game. You do start feeling pain, your mindset then changes and goes to the pain, and that then affects your competition.